Grace Murray Hopper, 1906 to 1992, by Meg Clauder. Grace Brewster Murray was born on December 9, 1906, in New York, New York. Being born in 1906 meant that women were not allowed or encouraged to do all the things that men were able to do. But Grace had a great father. He inspired Grace to not limit herself to the normal female roles. Grace graduated in 1928 from Vassar College. She earned a BA in mathematics and physics when she graduated. Grace accepted a job at Vassar teaching mathematics and continued her studies at Yale. By 1930, she earned a master's degree in mathematics and married Vincent Foster Hopper. 4 years later, she earned her PhD in mathematics from Yale. When World War II was at its peak, Hopper decided to enlist in the Navy. At first, the Navy rejected her due to her age and being underweight, but after going to the government with her concerns, Grace left Vassar and joined the Naval Reserve. In December 1943, 2 years after joining the Naval Reserve, Grace divorced her husband. On July 2, 1944, Grace reported to Howard Aiken, the head of the Mark I project. On that day, Grace got her first look at Mark I, which was 51 feet long and 8 feet high. The Mark I was the country's first modern computer. Grace was the third person to program the Mark I. The Mark I had two successors called the Mark II and Mark III. The whole point of the computer was to make calculations to aim complicated Navy guns and rockets. While working on Mark I, II, and III, the term debugging was created by Grace and her co-workers. This happened when a moth got stuck in Mark II, but the term is used when fixing computer glitches. Grace didn't just program the first computer, she also made the first compiler. A compiler is a program that allows a computer to assemble its own programs. In 1949, she joined Eckert-Mauchly Computer Corporation as a senior mathematician. She joined the corporation because she wanted many people to use computers, and that is what Eckert-Mauchly was doing. While working there, the UNIVAC came out in 1951. The UNIVAC was the first large-scale electronic digital computer. Grace made a language for people to understand computers. The language was called Flowmatic. She created it in 1957. Then 2 years later, Grace and her co-workers designed COBOL with the assistance of other computer experts. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. During her years working with computers, Grace retained her post at the Naval Reserves. At age 60, the Naval Reserves asked Grace to retire, but after just 7 months of retirement, she returned to the Navy in 1967. Grace then served for 19 more years. In 1971, she retired from Eckert-Mauchly. In 1973, Grace was promoted to captain, and in 1983, she was promoted to Commodore. Grace's most memorable day was on November 8, 1985, when she was promoted up to Rear Admiral by the Navy. She was 79 years old. In 1986, 80-year-old Grace Hopper retired involuntarily from the Navy. Grace remained active within the computer industry and education until her death. Grace Murray Hopper died in her sleep on January 1, 1992, at the age of 85, and she was buried in Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors. The USS Hopper is a missile destroyer named for Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, and it was launched on January 6, 1996.